At this moment, at home, Shen Yuxin, nestled in your arms, and sobbing softly, used the corner of your clothes to wipe her tears and snot. Her pitiful, aggrieved little appearance made your heart ache. It's just watching a video. If you want to cry, just cry. Why are you acting so aggrieved? Shen Yuxin finally knew what you had been busy with outside these past few days. Creating such a song, cooperating with Hua Ying, and helping her secure that unrealistic contract. What exactly had you experienced? She didn't know any of it. What she felt aggrieved about was that you had done so many things outside, but didn't tell her when you came back. Had you suffered any losses outside because of this? Had anyone given you a hard time? How much effort had you expended to create such a song? At the same time, in the Tianmei entertainment branch in the city center, Lily's face was so gloomy, it looked like it could drip water. Her manager, Sister Shen, also had a very bad expression. The atmosphere in the room was heavy. Only Zhao Chuchu in the distance was secretly smiling, looking very schadenfreude. Lily glanced at her manager. She increasingly felt that this old, faded woman was truly useless. Sister Shen, wasn't your song originally scheduled to go online on Hua Ying at the end of July? What's going on now? The song was taken down, and I'm being pushed to early August. The company's promotions have already been done. I just bought hot searches, and they quietly delayed my song without a word, and even occupied all the hot searches. Sister Shin, this matter has always been your responsibility. You need to give me an explanation. Sister Shin's face became even more gloomy. She was already in a bad mood after something like this happened. And now Lily was still yelling at her. For a moment, she felt even more angry. You want an explanation from me? If you have the ability, go find Hua Ying. What are you yelling at me for? Who knew where this bouffon popped out from? One song actually made Hua Ying release the MV ahead of schedule. If it weren't for the fact that she still needed to rely on Liu Li for a living, Sister Qin wouldn't want to deal with her at all. Then what should we do now? Liu Li's tone was still very aggressive. She frowned. The two of them were now grasshoppers on the same rope, and couldn't fall out. She sneered. We'll do this. Upon hearing this, Liu Li could only agree. In her heart she cursed Bouffon fiercely. It was all because of her that the popularity that originally belonged to her was stolen. When Liu Li turned her face and saw Zhao Chuchu secretly smiling in the distance, she became even angrier. Zhao Chuchu, didn't you see how chaotic things are over here? Why aren't you coming over to clean up? Her sharp, piercing voice made Zhao Chuchu unable to resist digging in her ears. Ayo, sorry, my contract expired today, and I've already submitted my resignation procedures. This old lady won't serve anymore, Zhao Chuchu said with a big laugh. She sat on the chair, crossed her legs, and leisurely drank tea. Liu Li stood up with a whoosh, pointing at Zhao Chuchu. Her face turned green, purple, and white. For a long time she couldn't say a word. After lunch, your family of three happily took a taxi out. In the afternoon, you arrived at the 4S store on time. Welcome. Sir, madam, is there a model you're particularly interested in? The salesperson in charge of reception had shining eyes. With several years of sales experience, she knew that when a family of three came to look at cars, there was an 80% chance of a deal. At home, you and Shen Yuxin had researched in advance and finally chosen the model before coming. Is there the H9 top spec? Yes, there is. Hearing that you indeed had a preferred model, the salesperson's eyes brightened even more. The cheapest landed price for the H9 top spec is over 300,000. Sir, we happen to have limited stock of the H9 top spec right now. 2 units. One in quicksand gold and one in gentian purple. Which one would you like to see first? As the salesperson spoke, she led the three of you inside the store. Gentian purple. It looks deeper. This was also something you had already decided at home. Gentian purple looked more luxurious. When you went out, it wouldn't lose face. Sir has really good taste. Gentian purple is indeed more suitable for your wife's temperament. As the salesperson spoke, she led you to the car and introduced. This is the H9 Gentian purple top spec. Sir, get in and try it. You chuppinged. I won't. You try it. I'll hold Wanwan. You saw that when Shen Yuxin saw this car, her eyes obviously lit up. Clearly she was quite satisfied with this car. Shen Yuxin was a bit shy. Her cheeks were slightly red, but she still gathered courage, handed Wanwan to you, and got in. She had fantasized before about having a car of her own, thinking that today, it had actually come true. The car was very good. The lines were beautiful yet domineering. Seeing Shen Yuxin's reluctant to part look, you became even happier. You boldly took out your bank card and driver's license and handed them to the salesperson. This one. Full payment card. The corners of the salesperson's mouth almost split to her ears. I will definitely give you the biggest discount. Wait while I prepare the materials. You didn't wait long before the salesperson returned, with the purchase contract and various materials. Everyone sat down at the table in the rest area. Sir, for full payment, we can offer you 385,000. Insurance and licensing are all included, and we'll give you a full set of car seat covers and a car cover. You can pick up the car tomorrow. You nodded. Without another word, you entered the password and swiped the card to pay. After all procedures were completed, you arranged with the salesperson to come pick up the car tomorrow morning, then left the 4S store happily. When you returned home, it was already 5 o'clock in the afternoon. As soon as you got home, you received a call from Li Xia. Hello, great talent. Congratulations. Now the internet is flooded with news about that MV and you. You're completely famous now. Same to you. Same to you. I didn't want to become famous, but your company must have gained quite a few benefits this time, right? You laughed. Isn't that all thanks to you, great talent? Let's talk business. When is Shen Yuxin coming to report? On the other end, Li Xia teased you, then asked with a smile. You glanced at Shen Yuxin on the sofa, who was pretending to be cold, but secretly perking up her ears to eavesdrop on your call. You smiled. In a couple of days, at the latest on the 3rd. There are still some things at home to handle. We'll go over after that. Good. Then I'll be here waiting for her arrival. Li Xia was very curious in her heart about what kind of personality the woman who could make you run around like this for her would have. At 10 o'clock the next morning, the salesperson called to notify that the car had been licensed and insured and could be picked up at any time. The task of picking up the car was left to Shen Yuxin. You didn't go with her, but stayed home to look after Wanwan. Along the way to the forest store, Shen Yuxin successfully picked up the car. After trying to drive it a bit, she drove toward the city center. She was going to pick up Chu and Sister Yun and bring them to Star Entertainment together. Shen Yuxin had already made up her mind to go report to Star Entertainment tomorrow. Although you said she could go later, she didn't want to. She also had her own little thoughts. Besides singing being her dream, she didn't want to be like a vase, only relying on you. At this moment, Shen Yuxin didn't know that Zhao Chuchu had already resigned. She only called Zhao Chuchu after driving to the vicinity of the Tianmei Entertainment building. She wanted to give her a surprise. The phone was quickly answered. A smile hung on Shen Yuxin's face, and even her voice was bright. Chuchu, guess where I am? Zhao Chuchu was in her rental house packing her things. After resigning, she planned to return to her hometown. She had already decided. It was at this time that she received Shen Yuxin's call. Sister Shen, where else could you be if not at home, silly? I'm downstairs at your company. Come down quickly, I have something to discuss with you. Then Sister Shen, wait a moment, I'll be right there. Zhao Chuchu suddenly became a bit flustered. Why did Sister Shen run to the downstairs of her company? For a moment, she didn't know how to tell Shen Yuxin that she had resigned and was going back to her hometown. Fortunately, Zhao Chuchu's rental was not far from the Tianmei Entertainment building. Before long, she ran downstairs panting, looking around left and right, until she heard a voice. Chuchu, I'm here. She turned her head and saw Shen Yuxin getting out of a brand new car and waving at her. Sister Shen, you bought a car? Zhao Chuchu's eyes narrowed into a cute, confused shape. She quickly walked to Shen Yuxin, looked at the brand new car next to her, her face full of disbelief. That man actually bought Sister Shen a car. Wasn't he bad to Sister Shen? Shen Yuxin smiled and nodded, took Zhao Chuchu's hand. Yes, I just bought it. I came today because I have something to discuss with you. Do you have time? Only then did Zhao Chuchu notice that this time Shen Yuxin seemed a bit different from the last time she saw her. Her skin was more lively, her face a bit rounder, and her complexion obviously much better. Most importantly, the confidence on her body seemed to have returned. Seeing her former assistant, Shen Yuxin's eyes carried a longing light. She directly took her hand. Chuchu, come back and be my assistant again. Let's call Sister Yun too. I'm going to make a comeback. As soon as the words fell, Zhao Chuchu was instantly stunned. She simply couldn't believe her ears, but the next second, she jumped up excitedly. I knew heaven wouldn't block all paths. Sister Shen, what a coincidence. I just resigned. We can fight side by side again. However, Shen Yuxin was stunned. Only then did she learn that Chuchu had already resigned. In an instant, huge guilt and sadness surged up. I'm sorry, it was me who was too willful before. It's all because of me that Chuchu and Sister Yun were implicated. You two should look toward the future. I'm going to make a comeback now. Then she asked, do you know where Sister Yun is? Let's go find her now. Zhao Chuchu immediately gave the address. Knowing that Sister Yun was definitely at the hospital taking care of her mother, Shen Yuxin didn't waste any time. She directly had Chuchu get in the car, and the two rushed to the hospital. But in the car, Zhao Chuchu looked at the brand new interior, and suddenly asked curiously, Sister Shen, does he know you're making a comeback? Shen Yuxin nodded, the corners of her mouth unconsciously curved up. He knows. This comeback was him who helped me negotiate the contract, and this car was also bought by him for me. One sentence directly left Zhao Chuchu stunned with her small mouth slightly open. He helped you negotiate the contract? How is that possible? Sister Shen, you're not lying to me, right? Shen Yuxin shook her head and dropped an even heavier bomb. It's true. He helped me negotiate the Star Entertainment contract, and it's the top-tier kind. Zhao Chuchu was completely dumbfounded. She couldn't figure out how that man could possibly negotiate a top-tier contract. Seeing that she didn't speak, Shen Yuxin continued. He's really treating me very well now. Don't use that kind of attitude toward him anymore. Only then did Zhao Chuchu come back to her senses. She pouted and said, Sister Shen is so protective. I'm jealous. Shen Yuxin's pretty face turned red, but she didn't refute. Soon they arrived at the hospital. Standing at the door of Ward 302 in the inpatient department, Shen Yuxin felt apprehensive. But when she knocked on the door and saw Sister Yun, tears nearly burst out. The originally jet-black hair of Sister Yun had actually grown white strands. Her once resolute face was now full of vicissitudes. This appearance was exactly like her previous self. Sister Yun was also completely stunned when she saw Shen Yuxin. She stared straight at her. For a moment, the two were speechless as they looked at each other. It was Zhao Chuchu who ran in first to break the silence. Sister Yun, Sister Shen and I came to find you. Only then did Sister Yun react. She rubbed her hands in panic. You came. Why didn't you tell me in advance? Look at me like this. She forced a smile. Mom's health is still okay. One more surgery, and she can recover. But that smile hid a trace of bitterness. She was already at the end of her rope. She still owed more than 100,000 outside. Where would she get the money for the next surgery? Shen Yuxin walked into the ward, lowered her head, bit her lip, like a child who had done something wrong. But Sister Yun walked over, took her hand, and a gratified smile appeared on her face. I'm very happy that you could come to see me. Seeing you like this now makes me even happier. It means you're doing well. Before, when I tried to stop you, it was for your own good. Don't take it to heart. At this moment, Shen Yuxin could no longer hold back. Sister Yun, I'm sorry. She suddenly put into Sister Yun's arms. Tears fell like rain. Sister Yun's eyes also turned red, but she firmly nodded. Lu Fan is Wanwan's daddy. He will take good care of Wanwan. I believe him. Sister Yun rubbed her temples, suppressing the doubts in her heart. Even if he could take good care of the child, making a comeback wasn't easy. Do you have a company that's willing to sign you? What resources will the company give you? Before she finished speaking, Shen Yuxin immediately took out the contract for her bag and handed it over. Sister Yun, look, this is the Star Entertainment contract. Seeing the 4 words Star Entertainment, Sister Yun was instantly stunned. That was one of the 3 giants of Huaguo. She took the contract half believing and half doubting, and carefully flipped through it. But the more she read, the more shocked she became. By the end, her hands had begun to tremble slightly. What kind of divine contract is this? Did Shen Yuxin kidnap the boss of Star Entertainment? Top-tier resources, no restrictions on freedom, 2-year short contract. This was simply an overlord clause. Sister Yun suddenly raised her head. Her voice was trembling. Is this real? Of course it's real. It even has Star Entertainment's seal on it. Shen Yuxin quickly explained, afraid she wouldn't believe it. She stared straight at her. The terms in this contract were something she had never seen in her lifetime as a manager. Too outrageous. Had Star Entertainment gone crazy? Sister Yun, I'm going to report tomorrow. Seeing that she still didn't believe, Shen Yuxin emphasized again. Only then did Sister Yun finally believe, but the shock on her face didn't diminish at all. Yuxin, tell me honestly, did you? The next second Zhao Chuchu exaggeratedly shouted. 1 billion plus likes. Then she quickly covered her mouth. This was a hospital after all. Sister Yun was also dumbfounded. What video could have over 1 billion likes? Then she saw the account name, Bufan, followed by Huaying co-creation. Bufan Huaying. Sister Yun instantly became dazed. She raised her head as an absurd thought emerged. Bufan is Lufan? Zhao Chuchu also pressed her voice and exclaimed, Ah, Bufan, the hottest and most mysterious guy online right now. Looking at the two's shocked expressions, Shen Yuxin's face became even redder. Yes. Only then did Sister Yun completely come back to her senses. She looked at Shen Yuxin with complicated eyes and returned the phone to her. Shen Yuxin's future was bright. She was naturally happy. But the next second, she sighed. Yuxin, with your conditions you can definitely find a better manager. I'll pass. Why? Sister Yun, you don't want me anymore? Shen Yuxin exclaimed. Sister Yun looked at the hospital ward with a face full of helplessness. You've seen it too. My mother needs care. I really can't leave. You can hire a nanny. But Sister Yun showed a difficult expression. Where did she have money to hire a nanny? Following Shen Yuxin would only drag her down. Yuxin, you don't need to persuade me anymore. Such a good opportunity. You must cherish it well. Don't be so willful in the future. After saying that, Sister Yun hardened her heart and turned her head away, no longer looking at her. Shen Yuxin bit her lip. She didn't understand why Sister Yun just wasn't willing to go with her. She had come with hope, but returned with disappointment. Along the way, Shen Yuxin remained silent. After sending Zhao Chuchu back, she drove home alone. But when she pushed open the door, you saw her and couldn't help but be stunned. She had cried. Did things go smoothly? You asked directly. Who would have thought that as soon as your words fell, Shen Yuxin's mouth instantly flattened. She plopped down on the sofa. Seeing you was like finding her only support. Tears began to well up again. Sister Yun, she's not willing to go with me, you frowned. Why? In your memory that strict woman doted on Shen Yuxin the most. Then Shen Yuxin told you everything that had happened at the hospital. All aggrieved. You listened silently. Only after she finished did you nod thoughtfully. I understand. You suddenly stood up. You're such an idiot. Stay home with Wanwan. I'll go out for a bit. Where are you going? Shen Yuxin looked very unhappy, whether because you called her an idiot, or because she didn't want you to leave. You turned your head, the corners of your mouth curving into a mysterious smile. I'm going to bring back the person who is very important to you. After saying that, you went straight out. First you found a housekeeping company, then drove straight to the hospital. But you didn't go directly to Sister Yun. Instead you first found the attending doctor. After learning all about Sister Yun's mother's condition from the doctor, you went up to the inpatient department and arrived in front of Ward 302. You jungly your emotions, put on a cold expression and gently knocked on the door. The next second the door opened. Sister Yun, with slightly red eye sockets, appeared. Seeing you she was instantly stunned, but you spoke in a calm, imposing voice. Sister Yun, aren't you going to let me in first? Sister Yun frowned, but still stepped aside to let you in. As soon as you stepped into the ward, an elderly woman with gray hair and a thin, frail body looked over. Little Yun, is this your friend? Before Sister Yun could answer, you quickly walked to the hospital bed, took the elderly woman's hand, and said, Auntie, my wife is Sister Yun's friend. She came to visit you before, but you were sleeping, so she didn't disturb you. The elderly woman immediately showed a kind smile upon hearing this. So you're little Yun's friend. You're very thoughtful. You immediately continued, Auntie, it's our blessing to have Sister Yun as a friend. My wife talks about Sister Yun's good qualities at home every day. My ears are about to grow calluses. You changed the subject and began chattering. It's just a pity that this time for work, my wife wants to go with Sister Yun, but she's worried about your health and refuses to go. You don't know how hard my wife cried when she got home. Behind you, Sister Yun's expression changed drastically. In her eyes, you were the lobbyist invited by Shen Yuxin. What work? Little Yun, what's going on? Sister Yun's mother didn't know the specifics of her daughter's work. Upon hearing this, her gray eyebrows immediately furrowed. Mom, don't listen to her nonsense. There's no work. Sister Yun glared at you and quickly explained. But the elderly woman wasn't stupid. She immediately held your hand back. Young man, tell me, what exactly is the work? You pretended to be troubled, glanced at Sister Yun, then spoke slowly. Auntie, this work requires business trips. We originally wanted to hire a nanny for you, but Sister Yun is worried and insists on taking care of you personally. Little Yun, you child. Upon hearing this, the elderly woman immediately turned to look at her daughter. If the work requires business trips, then go, Mom. Sister Yun was anxious. In her heart, she hated you to death. She knew the fundamental reason she wanted to stay was that she couldn't leave. Where would she get the money to hire a nanny? She didn't even have the money for the next surgery yet. At this moment, you spoke calmly. Sister Yun, let's go out and talk. After saying that, you smiled at the elderly woman and turned to walk out of the ward. Sister Yun bit her teeth and followed. In the corridor, Sister Yun raised her head and glared at you angrily. What exactly do you want to do? But you looked down from above as if stating a fact. You can treat me as a bad person. I just don't want Shen Yuxin to be sad. If you don't go with her, she will always be thinking about you. At that time, even if she's 100% enthusiastic, she might only be able to give 50%. That's not enough. You paused, then dropped a heavy bomb. By the way, I've already paid for Auntie's next surgery fee. I've also arranged for a nanny. I'll give you the contact. You can choose the person yourself. Don't think I'm giving you charity. Sister Yun laughed angrily. But you shrugged like a hooligan. You're overthinking. You'll have to pay it back. In the future, it will be deducted from the salary Shen Yuxin gives you. You looked straight at her, word by word. You and Chu are Shen Yuxin's people. It has nothing to do with the company. I don't care how much salary she gives you. Anyway, this is my money. You must pay me back. You spread your hands, putting on a dead pig not afraid of boiling water appearance. Anyway, I've already paid the surgery fee and the nanny money. They won't refund it. What you do next, I don't care. After saying that, you didn't give Sister Yun any time to react and turned to leave. Lu Fan, don't tell Shen Yuxin. When you were almost at the door, Sister Yun's voice came from behind. You didn't turn your head, just waved your hand and quickly left. In the corridor, Sister Yun looked in the direction you disappeared. It was a long time before she returned to the ward. Lil Yun, has that young man left? Seeing her come in alone, the elderly woman patted the edge of the bed and let her sit down. Don't blame others. That person is not bad. Mom has seen many people. From his eyes, I can tell what kind of person he is. The elderly woman held her daughter's hand and said earnestly. Mom also knows you are filial. But there are many paths in life. If you choose wrong, you will regret it later. My body is fine. One more surgery and I can recover. The doctor also said the risk isn't big. Go. If I really make you regret it in the future, Mom's heart will truly feel bad. Sister Yun lowered her head and remained silent for a long time. Finally, she gently nodded. As soon as you returned home, Shen Yuxin came over. Her little face was full of curiosity, but you deliberately didn't look at her, and happily picked up Wanwan. Wanwan, what do you want to eat for dinner? Shen Yuxin's expression instantly froze. She looked at you in disbelief as you walked past her. Daddy's cooking. I like everything. The little one was very supportive and didn't notice Mommy's collapsed little face at all. Good, then Daddy will go cook now. You kissed the little one and turned toward the kitchen. Lu Fan, I'm angry. Shen Yuxin pouted, her face full of grievance. That expression seemed to accuse you. This guy actually ignored me. Doesn't he know how anxiously I was waiting at home? You turned around with an innocent face. Huh? What's wrong? This question made Shen Yuxin even angrier. Going out as if nothing happened. This is something you can't do. You also rarely didn't go out for a run. The two of you tacitly made breakfast together in the kitchen. Wanwan was still sleeping. Shen Yuxin was afraid that seeing her wake up would make it hard for her to leave. After breakfast was ready, she ate quietly. You sat beside her, nagging and instructing. When you get there, remember to call often. Otherwise Wanwan will miss you. If anything happens outside, remember to tell me. Don't hide it in your heart like a fool. Shen Yuxin took one sip of porridge after another. Listening to your words, her heart suddenly felt a bit lost. She was a little reluctant to leave. She ate this meal extremely slowly until the bottom of the bowl was visible. At this moment, her phone rang. Only after you reminded her did she react and answer. Hello, Sister Shen. I'm ready. Sister Yun is with me. When are you coming? I'll be there in a bit. You two wait a little longer. Good. Then we'll wait for you downstairs. See you soon. After hanging up the phone, Shen Yuxin raised her head to look at you. The complicated look in her almond eyes made your heart tremble. You had to admit that Shen Yuxin was really beautiful. You quickly turned your head to look at the luggage in the living room. It's time to set off. Don't make them wait too long. I'll go take one look at Wanwan and then leave. Shen Yuxin withdrew her gaze. Her voice was very soft. You nodded and went into the bedroom with her. The little one was sprawled out, sleeping soundly, completely unaware that Mommy was about to go far away. Shen Yuxin leaned down and kissed her little face again and again, then buried her face in her neck and rubbed it before reluctantly standing up. She walked out of the bedroom, looking back every 3 steps. You silently followed her, helped her put the luggage in the car, and only after watching her sit in the driver's seat, did you close the car door and walk to the side. I'm leaving. Shen Yuxin turned to look at you. Remember to come home often, otherwise the little one will make a fuss. I know. The car started. Suddenly Shen Yuxin turned her head again. Her expression was extremely serious. Lu Fan, I like you. Before you could respond, the car sped away. Along the way to the city center, Zhao Chuchu had been waiting eagerly. The Sister Yun beside her shook her head. This girl is still so impatient. Sister Shen is here. Seeing Shen Yuxin's car, Zhao Chuchu quickly waved. Chuchu, Sister Yun, have you been waiting long? Shen Yuxin took Zhao Chuchu's hand and looked apologetically at Sister Yun. Not long, mainly because this girl is too anxious. A smile hung on Sister Yun's face. She never expected that the three of them would have a day of reunion, and all of this was actually because of that man who looked like a pretty boy. Sister Yun, thank you for coming. Without you and Chuchu, I wouldn't know what to do. All right. You're already a mother, yet you're still acting like a child. Sister Yun patted her hand, her expression capable. You should thank your man. Enough talk. Let's get the luggage. These words instantly made Shen Yuxin's face turn bright red. Until now, she still didn't know how you had convinced Sister Yun. The three of them didn't have much luggage. The car was easily loaded. After getting in the car, Zhao Chuchu waved excitedly and shouted, "Let's go! The bright road ahead, here we come." The car sped toward Modu. At the same time, in the Star Entertainment building in Modu, Li Xia had arrived at the office early, but had been restless all day. After finally enduring until noon, she calculated the time and immediately went downstairs. She came to the building entrance, wanting to see what kind of person the wife that guy doted on so much really was. Before long, a car with Jiang City plates drove into the parking lot. Li Xia's eyes narrowed slightly. 3 people got out of the car. One was chattering with youthful vitality. The other was older, with a gentle and doting look. Seeing these 2 friends, she knew Shen Yuxin's character must not be bad. Then she shifted her gaze to the woman in the middle. Fair face, almond eyes, with a gentle smile on her face that made one's heart ache. No wonder Lu Fan treated her like that. Li Xia composed herself and quickly stepped forward. "Hello, you must be Shen Yuxin. I am Li Xia, Deputy Minister of the Human Resources Department of Star Entertainment. Welcome to join us." "Hello, I am Shen Yuxin." Shen Yuxin's voice was soft. She was also sizing up this person. Her temperament is really good, her voice is pleasant, and she looks unexpectedly clean and pure. But in her heart, Li Xia was thinking, such a good woman, how was she tricked away by Lu Fan back then? She rarely took the initiative to shift her gaze to Zhao Chuchu and Sister Yun. These 2 are Zhao Chuchu, my assistant, Sister Yun, my manager. Shen Yuxin answered seriously, but she always felt that this cool sister in front of her was very polite to her, yet her reaction was somewhat strange. Shen Yuxin tilted her head in confusion, then suddenly seemed to think of something. Her eyes dimmed a little. She has her own team. That's good. Saves trouble. Li Xia nodded to the 2, then turned back. Then I'll show you around first. After all, you will be working here for the next 2 years. After the tour, I'll take you to the apartment. The group followed Li Xia into the building. Along the way, Zhao Chuchu was completely shocked. This place was much more luxurious than Tianmei Entertainment in Jiang City. You could see hot search celebrities at any time. This was not something a Tianmei branch could compare to. You know, in Jiang City, even a second-tier singer like Liu Li could act tyrannically. Li Xia took them straight up to the 11th floor by elevator and enthusiastically introduced. This entire floor is recording studios, all equipped with top professional equipment. Next, we'll go to the 12th floor. That's the exclusive rest area for singers. Creation and receiving notices are all done there. During this time, people kept greeting Li Xia, their faces carrying strange expressions. Shen Yuxin was even more puzzled. Why did these people's eyes carry envy when they saw her? Shen Yuxin didn't understand. Isn't Li Xia just a deputy minister of human resources? Why do everyone look at her with such strange eyes? Even more outrageous was seeing a bald man wearing a human resources minister badge who proactively stopped to greet Li Xia, and even greeted her. Shen Yuxin responded somewhat flattered. She thought, this Minister Zhang Hao has a really good temper. You know, back at Tianmei, those leaders all had their noses in the air. At this moment, Li Xia stopped at the end of the corridor. She pointed to the room in front. This will be your exclusive restroom from now on. Shen Yuxin looked up. The door was tightly closed with a password lock. The nameplate clearly had her name on it. Li Xia entered the password while introducing. The initial password is 6 6s. You can change it yourself later. Take a look. The door opened. The group walked in. Zhao Chuchu instantly let out a wow. This restroom was too big, the decoration too luxurious. Even Shen Yuxin was shocked. She had never seen such a luxurious restroom. Zhao Chuchu was so happy she was about to faint. Thinking back to the doghouse at Tianmei, there really was no harm without comparison. If there weren't outsiders, she really wanted to roll on the sofa. Li Xia saw their surprised expressions and smiled. Not everyone gets this treatment. Top-tier resources mean the restroom naturally also has to be top-tier. Hearing this, Zhao Chuchu instantly felt that Lu Fan didn't seem so detestable anymore. After the group came out, Zhao Chuchu was still immersed in happiness. At this time, the door of the adjacent room suddenly opened. A graceful and luxurious woman walked out on high heels, followed by a small assistant. The woman saw the group. Surprise flashed across her face before disappearing. Then she greeted Li Xia. You personally brought people to see the rooms? Lena, you're going out? There's a meeting this afternoon. Li Jie, you're busy. I'll leave first. After Lena finished speaking, she only glanced at Shen Yuxin once, before elegantly walking away on her high heels. Let's go too. Li Xia turned back with a smile on her face again. The floors above are all meeting rooms. I won't take you there. Let's go directly to the apartment, put away the luggage, and then go eat. It's my treat. Shen Yuxin only felt that she was being a bit too enthusiastic. Today's impression of this company was very good, but everything felt strange. After getting on the elevator, Shen Yuxin suddenly asked softly, Minister Li, are you very familiar with Lu Fan? The smile on Li Xia's face froze. Sure enough. Shen Yuxin's eyes dimmed slightly. A trace of indescribable feeling surged in her heart. Not really. When he came over, I was the one who received him. The cooperation has always been handled by me, so we're somewhat familiar. Li Xiya quickly recovered as usual. Shen Yuxin only softly acknowledged and stopped speaking. The group went downstairs. Li Xiya drove her gray Mercedes in front to lead the way. Shen Yuxin drove slowly behind. As soon as Zhao Chuchu got in the car, she heartlessly praised how good everything here was. Only after Sister Yun gave her a look did she quiet down. Sister Shen, what's wrong with you? Zhao Chuchu leaned on the front seat and asked curiously. I'm fine. Chuchu, you continue talking. This is called fine? Zhao Chuchu was puzzled and turned to Sister Yun for help. But Sister Yun only smiled at Shen Yuxin without speaking. She could tell at a glance that someone had fallen into a vinegar jar. At this moment at home, you were overwhelmed. As soon as your wife left for half a day, your daughter Wanwan was crying and wanting mommy. No matter how you coaxed her, she cried even harder, shouting that daddy was a bad guy who hid mommy. You bared your teeth and sang Little Tiger, but Wanwan's little pearls still fell drop by drop. Her 2 little feet kicked hard, as if she wouldn't stop until she saw mommy. You scratched your head. What should I do? I can't call Shen Yuxin back right now, right? She would laugh at me to death. At this moment the phone on the table suddenly rang. You glanced at it. The next second your eyes suddenly lit up with golden light. The savior has arrived. It was a WeChat message from Shen Yuxin with only 2 words. In? You quickly replied. Of course I'm in. Unexpectedly, she replied with a video call. Shen Yuxin's cool pretty face appeared on the screen. You immediately smiled miserably and pointed the phone at Wanwan. Wanwan misses you. Who would have thought that Shen Yuxin's face instantly turned cold? Lu Fan, is this what you mean by taking good care of Wanwan? You pretended not to hear. Seeing mommy, Wanwan wiped her tears aggrievedly. Mommy, did daddy hide you? Don't you want Wanwan anymore? Shen Yuxin immediately coaxed softly. Wanwan, be good. Mommy just went out to work. She'll be back soon. The little one actually slowly stopped crying. Your heart instantly suffered 10,000 tons of critical damage. You made funny faces and sang, but it was not as effective as her one sentence. After coaxing your daughter, you turned the phone toward yourself. Your expression was evasive. As a result, Shen Yuxin hit you with a question. Can you really take good care of the child? You immediately became anxious. Who are you looking down on? Today was just an accident. If you go out, you wouldn't be able to coax her either. However, Shen Yuxin only gave you a deep look, her eyes carrying a trace of pity. She suddenly asked as if it didn't matter. You and Minister Li are quite familiar, right? You casually replied, completely unaware that you were frantically testing the edge of death. More or less. Shen Yuxin repeated faintly, more or less. You inexplicably felt a chill rise and wrapped your clothes tighter. Her agent, called Sister Yun, contacted all the songwriters and composers they could reach, but they were all politely rejected. Who would write songs for a has-been singer who had been retired for 2 years? They had been completely abandoned by the industry. On the other side, Shen Yuxin was still troubled by the composition. She had been trying for 2 days, but still couldn't find any inspiration. She couldn't help thinking, if you were here, you could definitely write a better song, right? At that thought, she felt somewhat discouraged, feeling like she was inferior to you in every way. Just then, her assistant Zhao Chuchu suddenly sat up straight. Sister Shen, why don't you go ask Lu Fan? Shen Yuxin hesitated. She had come out of retirement precisely because she didn't want to rely on you anymore. After thinking for a long time, she finally spoke. Let's wait 2 more days. If it still doesn't work out, then I'll call him. But what she didn't know was that right at that moment, in the meeting room of Star Entertainment, a meeting that would decide her fate was taking place. In front of the chairman, Li Tian, lay an invitation document. The New Song Festival is the most famous talent show in the country. We have 2 spots. Let's discuss who should go. A cultured man with golden-rimmed glasses, Operations Director Yin Ping Lu, spoke first. I think Chen Xian can go. She has a sweet appearance and decent popularity. Most people nodded in agreement. Li Tian made the decision on the spot. Then Chen Xian is one. What about the other? Just as he finished speaking, HR Minister Zhang Hao suddenly stood up. Chairman, I think Shen Yuxin can also go. Shen Yuxin? Li Tian took a moment to recall. Isn't this the person you recommended? But before he could say anything else, Yin Ping Lu jumped out to oppose again. Minister Zhang, Shen Yuxin won't work. Even amateurs are better than her. No popularity, no works. She retired because of marriage, and the audience's impression of her is very bad. However, Zhang Hao argued passionately. That's precisely why we should choose her. I've heard her sing before. She has great vocal ability, and is very beautiful. Why can't she be chosen? Yin Ping Lu frowned, his face full of disdain. Minister Zhang, you're in charge of HR, but I'm in charge of operations. I know better than you what a singer needs most is popularity. We're not a charity company. Why should we give her a stage? Unexpectedly, Zhang Hao suddenly smiled triumphantly and dropped a bomb. Minister Yin, you're talking about popularity, but do you know who recommended Shen Yuxin? I dare ask Minister Yin, how is Bufan's popularity? What if he writes a song for Shen Yuxin? Hearing the name Bufan, Yin Ping Lu immediately fell silent. He wouldn't dare say Bufan wasn't popular. That was a top streamer with 50 million followers and millions of likes on his short videos. Yin Ping Lu looked at Zhang Hao with a sinister gaze and asked unwillingly, are you sure Bufan will write a song for Shen Yuxin? Just then, Chairman Li Tian finally spoke, finalizing the decision. Enough. Stop arguing. It's settled. Chen Shen and Shen Yuxin, notify them. After the meeting, Zhang Hao left happily. He was overjoyed to have gotten the better of his rival for the first time. At the same time, the entire entertainment industry was buzzing with the launch of the New Song Festival. Meanwhile, at Tenmei Entertainment, Li also received the news. Her agent, Sister Qin, rushed in excitedly shouting, Li, good news. The New Song Festival is letting you on, and they've even hired a famous songwriter to write a song for you. Lulu was stunned, the nail polish in her hands smudging. She whipped her head around, her eyes full of disbelief. Is it the new song festival that can propel me to first tier? After receiving a positive answer, she jumped up from her chair. I'm going to be famous. When she heard the name of the person writing the song for her, she became even more arrogant. Godfather of music, Wu Min? Isn't that a perfect match? Wu Min and me, a powerful combination. Haha. Sister Qin looked at her arrogant behavior and could only sigh helplessly. Just as Lulu was gloating, your wife Shen Yuxin also received a call from the company with the exact same message. Participate in the new song festival in 3 days. Hanging up the phone, she was completely dumbfounded. Her assistant Zhao Chuchu was so excited, she went crazy, grabbing her shoulders and shaking her vigorously. Sister Shen, really? The new song festival? But after the excitement, a huge problem lay before them. They had no agent. Sister Yoon's face was full of seriousness. Debuting again on the new song festival stage is a good thing, but we must have a good song. They immediately divided the work. Sister Yoon frantically contacted songwriters she knew, while Shen Yuxin could only bury herself in hard work, hoping to create a miracle. At that time you knew nothing of this. You were still at home, teaching your daughter Wanwan to sing children's songs. You wore a big bad wolf hood to amuse her, making her giggle non-stop. At 7 p.m., after putting Wanwan to sleep, you finally had some quiet time. You had been thinking about what song to prepare for Shen Yuxin, but there were too many classic songs in your head, and instead, you felt lost. Irritated, you opened your phone, and saw that your songs were everywhere. Fans had even turned Wanwan's expressions into emojis. Looking at your phone, you couldn't help but smile bitterly. Wife, oh wife, how are things on your end? Can you please control Sister Shen? She's going crazy. Your brow furrowed, and you instantly became alert. What happened? Sister Shen is going to participate in the new song festival, but we don't have a song. She hasn't slept all night trying to write one. You immediately understood. Only then did you remember that the contract clearly stated you would write the song for her. While you were racking your brains here, things were already at a crisis point over there. Got it. I'll call her. You hung up and immediately dialed Shen Yuxin. She answered, her voice tired. Hello? Is Wanwan missing me? Your heart ached, and you deliberately said, Wanwan doesn't miss you. Can't you just call me? I am your husband, you know. This was the first time you had called yourself her husband in front of her. There was dead silence on the other end of the line. You sighed and broke the silence. Why didn't you tell me about participating in the new song festival? You could have easily solved it, so why tire yourself out? In your opinion, it was just a word from you. But as soon as you finished speaking, you suddenly heard suppressed sobbing on the other end. She was crying. You were completely bewildered. This emotional thing is too difficult. Just as you were at a loss, a tearful roar suddenly burst from the other end of the phone. Lu Fan. The voice was full of grievance, and your heart clenched tightly upon hearing it. You were stunned. This was the first time you heard her call you by your full name like that. Do you think I'm completely useless and can only depend on you? You suddenly understood. So that's what she was thinking. It was your negligence. You quickly smiled and interrupted her. I'm sorry, I wasn't blaming you. I was just worried about your health. Unexpectedly, as soon as you said that, Shen Yuxin laughed on the other end. The laughter was both aggrieved and stubborn. Then your voice became extremely firm. Shen Yuxin, you and Wanwan are the best gifts heaven has given me. You are my wife, unique and irreplaceable by anyone. This speech was like a bomb, exploding in her heart. Shen Yuxin's entire face turned crimson. She hummed softly in response, her mood clearly improving. Zhao Chuchu, who was eavesdropping nearby, looked like her eyes were about to pop out. You seized the moment. Don't overthink things from now on. I'll send you the song tonight. Shen Yuxin heard your confident words and let out a pff, laughing. Alright then, let's see what kind of song you, Lu Fan, can actually write. She completely gave up struggling. With the tension released, fatigue immediately hit her. Hanging up the phone, you breathed a sigh of relief. Wrangling your wife is harder than wrangling a baby. Then you took out paper and pen, but faced the same problem again. Too many classic songs in your head. Which one to choose? Just as you irritably opened the window, a young couple downstairs was saying goodbye. The boy was dragging a suitcase, and the girl had tears in her eyes. Love rises with the wind, but the wind means unresolved feelings. A flash of inspiration struck you. You quickly walked to your desk, picked up your pen, and wrote down 3 words. The wind rises. Notes flowed from your pen. You were completely immersed, until your daughter Wanwan called out, Daddy, I'm hungry, pulling you back to reality. You immediately broke into a smile. Little treasure is hungry? Daddy will cook right away. Your daughter's word was law. You didn't dare delay for a moment, and turned to go into the kitchen. 2 hours later, the well-fed mother and daughter lay down directly on the sofa. Just then, a video call from Shen Yuxin came in. She had dark circles under her eyes, and looked exhausted. Seeing the two of you so lazy, she immediately put on a pitiful expression, her almond-shaped eyes glistening as if to say, I'm working hard outside, while you're enjoying life at home. How could you resist such a test? Ha, don't you reward me? The little one even joined in the cheering. Shen Yuxin's face turned crimson instantly. In the end, unable to withstand your enthusiasm, she gave a symbolic kiss on the air. Your heart bloomed with joy. You rushed into the bedroom and brought out the sheet music. See? I didn't lie to you. Bro really wrote it. Shen Yuxin gave you an extremely charming glare, but inside, she was stunned. Just a few hours, and a song was already done? This man was simply a monster. 1 + 3? What if I said I suddenly had a flash of inspiration? Would you believe me? Shen Yuxin looked at you deeply without asking further. Looking down at the lyrics for a long while, she finally spoke softly, "Thank you." Then she looked up, smiling, her eyes incredibly determined. "I won't let this song be buried." The video call ended. Shen Yuxin knocked on Zhao Chuchu's door. Zhao Chuchu was overjoyed. "Sister Shen, we have a song. Did Lu Fan give it to us?" Good heavens, this girl had let it slip. She was the one who had revealed their predicament to you. Then Sister Yun was also called back. Upon hearing there was a song, she was thrilled. After days of hitting dead ends, she finally didn't have to beg for favors anymore. The three of them rushed to Star Entertainment, heading straight to the 11th floor recording studio. Shen Yuxin decided she would weld herself to that place. Time flew by. Zhao Chuchu took care of the background music and copyright. Only then did Shen Yuxin come out of the recording studio. But just as they were about to go eat, the door opposite them also opened. A girl came out. She was momentarily stunned when she saw Shen Yuxin, but still nodded friendly. Shen Yuxin smiled back. However, the man behind her had his nose in the air, wearing gold-rimmed glasses with an arrogant expression. Shen Yuxin didn't recognize him, and turned to leave, but the man snorted coldly. "No respect. You see a leader and don't even say hello?" That girl named Chen Qian quickly explained. "Uncle, she just came. How would she know you?" So this man was actually a company executive, Yin Pinglu, and Shen Qian was the singer who would participate in the new song festival, together with Shen Yuxin. What's more, Chen Chen thought to herself, the song she got is from Bu Fan, right? It shouldn't be bad. She turned out to be your fan too. In the following days, Shen Yuxin went out early and returned late, practicing desperately. Sister Yun posted her comeback announcement online. However, it sank like a stone in the ocean, noticed only by a few old fans and those with keen noses, who saw the words, "New Song Festival," and smelled traffic. So news of Shen Yuxin's comeback began to appear online. But most people simply didn't care about this has-been. Until August 7th, at the Magic City Stadium, the New Song Festival officially began. But the director of this New Song Festival, Ren Chao, was very worried. Because Bu Fan's songs had been dominating the trending searches, the traffic for their New Song Festival was incomparable to before. However, the annual New Song Festival couldn't be postponed because of one person, so he had to bite the bullet and begin. Too bad he couldn't contact Bu Fan. If he could get him to come be a mentor, wouldn't the traffic explode? But what he never imagined was that the big shot he couldn't even invite was at that moment sneaking into the audience, holding a baby. Yes, you had lied to your wife Shen Yuxin and secretly brought your daughter Wanwan to Magic City, just to cheer for her live. The little cutie in your arms was incredibly excited, because she was about to see her mother. You looked at the glow sticks waving throughout the venue, but not a single one was raised for your wife. You secretly opened the live stream, the barrage comments were overwhelming, and not a single person supported Shen Yuxin to win. Among the four favorites was the one who had dared to lay a finger on your daughter, Liu Li. Meanwhile, backstage was filled with undercurrents, staring intently at Shen Yuxin. "Why are you here?" Zhao Chuchu directly rolled her eyes and retorted on the spot, making Liu Li lose face. Liu Li looked at Shen Yuxin, who was radiant today, and was reminded of the years of fear of being overshadowed by her. It felt like the queen had returned, winning before the battle even started. Just then her agent's words woke her up. "It's just Shen Yuxin, she has nothing now." Liu Li immediately regained her composure. "That's right, what does Shen Yuxin have to compete with me now? Especially since I have the godfather of music song." Thinking this, she glanced contemptuously at Shen Yuxin. Then the stage lights blazed on outside. The host appeared. The four veteran mentors took their seats. The competition officially began. The rules were brutally simple. 16 contestants, paired up by audience shoutouts for random stops. No one could manipulate the pairings. As the screen scrolled rapidly, the 8 matchups were instantly generated. You looked at the matchup and smiled. The next second, the host's voice rang through the venue. "Let's welcome the contestants for the first match, Shen Yuxin versus Liu Li." As soon as he finished, the spotlight hit. Your wife Shen Yuxin and her nemesis Liu Li slowly walked onto the stage. A showdown of fate, ready to erupt. But you saw Shen Yuxin's hand trembling slightly. Indeed, Shen Yuxin's heart began to palpitate with nervousness. Liu Li, on the other hand, had a grim expression. She hadn't expected the first match to be so tough, going up against Shen Yuxin. The audience below exploded with chatter, wondering who this stunningly beautiful stranger was. You immediately saw Shen Yuxin's nervousness, so you abruptly raised your daughter Wanwan high. At that moment, Wanwan transformed into a glow stick, her little face beaming like a crescent moon, shouting with all her might, "Go, mommy." On stage, Shen Yuxin suddenly saw that familiar figure, and immediately covered her mouth. It was him and her daughter. The nervousness in her heart instantly dissipated, and her eyes burst with unprecedented brilliance. She also curved her eyes, forming the same crescent moon smile as her daughter. That tender look melted the hearts of the entire audience. Then the host announced Shen Yuxin's first performance. The stage lights dimmed, leaving only a single beam of light on her. The prelude sounded. The venue fell silent. On the big screen, the song title appeared, "The Wind Rises," and under the songwriter-composer column were 2 characters, Bu Fan. The entire audience gasped. This unknown singer could actually get that mysterious Bu Fan to write a song? Backstage, Liu Li was dumbfounded, her hands trembling uncontrollably. The next second, Shen Yuxin's ethereal singing voice rang out. I once found it hard to break free from the vastness of the world, indulging in love and wallowing in dreamy nonsense, not knowing true from false, not struggling, not fearing ridicule. The venue was so quiet you could hear a pin drop. Everyone was immersed, as if seeing their own lost youth. Shen Yuxin was also completely absorbed. Her gaze crossed the sea of people and looked toward the audience, where the two most important people in her life were. I will give my youth back to her, along with the midsummer popping from my fingertips. Where my heart moves, I'll let it go with the wind. In the name of love, are you still willing? A divine song. Everyone, whether live or watching the stream, was completely infected. Countless familiar and unfamiliar faces flashed through their minds, finally settling on the most unforgettable person from their youth. So this was the Wind Rises. What it stirred up was the wind of youth buried deep in their hearts. Just then, a thud came from the back of the stage. Lu Li collapsed to the ground, her face ashen, her lips trembling. She had lost the courage even to go on stage. Shen Yuxin, with her perfect vocals and this invincible song, had torn her pride to shreds. Agent Sister Qin smiled bitterly. If you lose, you lose. Even the mentors showed envious expressions. The music ended. The venue was dead silent. Shen Yuxin looked at the audience a bit at a loss. You slowly opened your eyes and saw her nervous look. You smiled. Just then Wanwan reached out her little hand and clapped for her mother with all her might. The next second, applause like a tsunami, like thunderous applause, erupted throughout the venue. The audience, tears in their eyes, gave Shen Yuxin on stage their most fervent support. Meanwhile, the barrage comments in the New Song Festival livestream went crazy. Sure enough, Bufan's work is a must-have. I'm crying. This isn't the wind rising, it's a tornado. At that moment, no one remembered their previous contempt for Shen Yuxin. They thought she was just there to make up the numbers, but she came out swinging with a royal flush from the start. Then Shen Yuxin bowed deeply, reluctantly glanced at you and your daughter, and retreated backstage. But the competition continued. Next was Lu Li. No one knew when she had gotten up. As she passed Shen Yuxin, she felt only deep powerlessness. She didn't even know how she got on stage. Only when the music started did she wake up with a start, but it was already too late. The audience immediately erupted in boos, making her even more flustered. The melody she sang went completely off-key. After she finished, the sparse, hesitant applause made her want to cover her face and flee. Backstage, director Ren Chao didn't care at all. The ratings had exploded, and that was enough. The final voting result was unsurprising, 5-0, a crushing victory. Just then, a message came from Shen Yuxin, asking to meet you at the backstage exit. Seeing this, you immediately held Wanwan and left the venue early. Backstage, Shen Yuxin had just appeared when Zhao Chuchu gave her a big hug. All right, stop crying. Things will get better and better. Shen Yuxin held her hand, her eyes filled with determination. Let's go. Lu Fan is waiting for us at the entrance. She just wanted to see you immediately and hold Wanwan in her arms. Outside the exit, it was getting dark. As soon as Shen Yuxin came out, she saw you holding Wanwan, standing straight under the streetlight. At that moment, a feeling called happiness welled up in her heart. Ordinary, yet incredibly warm. Mommy. Wanwan broke free from your embrace and toddled quickly towards Shen Yuxin. Shen Yuxin immediately squatted down and hugged her daughter tightly. You walked up and smiled at her. So, was this surprise okay? Shen Yuxin's cheeks flushed, but she looked you straight in the eye, her lips curving. Yes, very surprising. However, none of you knew that this tender scene had completely fallen into the eyes of Liu Li, who was watching your retreating figures with a gleam of malice in her eyes. A great idea to ruin Shen Yuxin instantly formed in her mind. What she couldn't have, Shen Yuxin wouldn't have either. Meanwhile, the internet had already exploded. Everyone was curious about where Bufan had found such a gem of a singer as Shen Yuxin. But when they clicked on Shen Yuxin's Weibo, they only saw a comeback announcement. So she was a former popular actress who had retired 2 years ago due to a leaked relationship. As soon as this hot topic appeared, unscrupulous media smelled blood and began hyping it up. Online opinion was polarized. Some felt that since she had retired, she shouldn't come back. Others felt that as long as the song was good, her private life was her own business. The two sides argued fiercely until a knockout blow appeared. Just tell me, is the song good or not? All the doubters fell silent. All they could say was, it would sound just as good, sung by someone else. Just then, Star Entertainment finally stepped in. An announcement directly detonated the internet. Not only did it congratulate Shen Yuxin on advancing, but it also dropped a bombshell. In the next round, Shen Yuxin would still have a song by Bufan. Moreover, after the New Song Festival, a complete album produced by Bufan would be released. What? More than one? The whole internet was shocked. The topic of Shen Yuxin and Bufan instantly shot to #1 on the trending searches. However, an even more vicious post was quietly climbing the rankings. Early the next morning, it appeared in the top 10 on the trending searches, with a shocking headline. Shen Yuxin cheats on husband with mysterious singer, Bufan. The post claimed with conviction that she had used her looks to seduce Bufan for her comeback. Countless marketing accounts hyped it up. The comment section was overwhelmingly one-sided. So it's all about selling her body. Bufan is no good either. Birds of a feather flock together. Although some fans firmly believed in Bufan's character, their voices were quickly drowned out. Within just an hour, this post and Shen Yuxin's Weibo were pushed to #1 and 2 on the trending searches. And at that moment, you had just finished your morning run and knew nothing of this. On the other side, Shen Yuxin walked out of her room, looking listless with dark circles. She had insomnia last night. her mind full of the scene where you held her hand at the hotel. Sister Yun and Zhao Chuchu saw her state, but assumed she had been up all night because of the trending searches. Zhao Chuchu anxiously rushed to her. Sister Shen, what did Lu Fan say? Isn't he going to come out and clarify? It's best if Lu Fan clarifies personally. If Shen Yuxin makes a statement, it will only backfire. But Shen Yuxin's mind was a complete mess. She looked blankly at Zhao Chuchu. Clarify what? What happened with Lu Fan? She realized Shen Yuxin had no idea what was going on. She stomped her foot angrily. Sister Shen, are you still thinking about him? He's fine, but you're in trouble. You need to check your Weibo right now. Shen Yuxin realized something was wrong. She took out her phone and opened Weibo. Instantly, a flood of private messages and comments flooded in. When she opened the malicious ones, her hand trembled involuntarily. She took a deep breath and scrolled down. 9 out of 10 were insults. After exiting the private messages, she saw the post and countless marketing accounts reposts. After a moment, Shen Yuxin put down her phone and continued eating her breakfast. Her expression was eerily calm, as if nothing had happened. But her appearance made Zhao Chuchu even more worried. Sister Shen, aren't you going to do anything? Shen Yuxin patted her hand to comfort her. Chuchu, the clear will clear themselves, but public opinion never cares about your life or death. Shen Yuxin's eyelashes fluttered. Inside, her heart was actually turbulent, but she knew that since you had chosen to release the song anonymously, you didn't want your identity exposed, so she couldn't reveal you. At that moment, the entire internet was waiting for an explanation, but after waiting for a long time, Shen Yuxin's Weibo finally updated. Everyone eagerly clicked on it, and then they were all stunned. There was no lengthy public relations statement, just 4 simple words. The clear will clear themselves. Instantly, the online comments became even more aggressive. Meanwhile, inside the Tianmei Entertainment Building, Lili was laughing happily. Although she had been scolded by the company, seeing Shen Yuxin successfully dragged down by her made her extremely pleased. The overwhelming comments online were all bought by her with money. But as long as it hurt Shen Yuxin, she felt it was worth it. Sister Qin beside her, however, looked grim, feeling that Li had gone crazy. Li, this is slander. If Bufan investigates, you're finished. Li was dismissive. How am I slandering her? If they have nothing going on, why would Bufan write songs for Shen Yuxin? See? She didn't even explain. The clear will clear themselves. So hypocritical. Sister Qin watched the deranged Li, already calculating how to abandon her. And you were leisurely taking a shower in the hotel, while your phone outside was ringing like crazy. You had to cut it short and walk out wrapped in a bath towel. Seeing the caller ID, you were a bit surprised. Hello, Minister Li? Why do you have time to call this idle guy today? The voice of Li Xia came through the phone, exasperated. Idle guy? You have the nerve to say you're idle? You're practically owning the trending searches. You scratched your head. That did seem true. Get to the point. What's up? Li Xia gritted her teeth, her tone even worse. It's about your precious wife. Shen Yuxin has been dragged through the mud, and you can still sit still? Shen Yuxin was being dragged? You immediately became serious, your demeanor uncharacteristically earnest. What happened to Shen Yuxin? At that moment, Li Xia felt a pang of jealousy. When it came to Shen Yuxin, this man became incredibly serious. She snorted coldly. Check the trending searches yourself. Then she hung up directly. You frowned, not understanding what was wrong with this woman again. But you had no time to think about that now. You quickly opened Weibo. The first thing you saw were the posts in the top few trending spots. The moment you saw the title, your face darkened. After reading all the posts and all the comments under Shen Yuxin's Weibo, your face turned as black as the bottom of a pot. You laughed out of anger. These people really think they can bully my woman. And that silly woman. Something this big happened, and she didn't tell me, just shouldered it alone. You wanted nothing more than to ask that idiot face to face. Do you even consider me your husband? But before that, you had something to do. Since someone wanted to play, you would play rough. Luli never imagined the slap in the face would come so fast and so fiercely. Before she could even enjoy her happiness for long, she was instantly plunged into fear. She never imagined that the mysterious Bufan would actually be that good-for-nothing Lufan in her eyes. At 10 a.m., the whole internet was still buzzing about the Shen Yuxin incident. Suddenly Bufan's short video platform was flooded. As the other party in the incident, this mysterious big shot with tens of millions of fans didn't need platform promotion. His fans spontaneously sent the video to the top. Bufan actually showed his face to prove himself. No one expected him to step forward without hesitation at this critical juncture. But when everyone clicked on the video, they were instantly dumbfounded. This wasn't a video of self-proof at all. It was clearly a love letter, coupled with a declaration of war. In the video, you looked serious. Hello everyone, I'm Bufan. I just woke up and saw some very bad things online. Many people are questioning why I write songs for Shen Yuxin, even spreading rumors about her having an extramarital affair. You looked at the camera, your voice suddenly rising. I just want to ask out loud, what's wrong with me writing songs for my own wife? What's wrong with that? My wife doesn't want to bother with you all, but I'm not going to indulge you. The clear will clear themselves? No way. You sneered, your eyes sharp. I originally wanted to get along with everyone as an ordinary person, but being distant only brought me alienation. Sorry, I'm not pretending anymore. I'm coming clean. My name is Lufan. Back then Shen Yuxin and I both retired because of our relationship, and we've been married ever since. As for why I go by Bufan, are you happy now that you know? Also, to the person who posted that message in those marketing accounts, sorry, but I have already collected the evidence. Not one of you will escape. Oh, and those bots, every single one of you, wait for the lawyer's letter. The video out. The entire internet was shocked beyond belief. After all that arguing, it turns out they were really husband and wife. No one expected the mysterious Bufan to actually be Lufan. This was insane. This video spread virally at that moment. Your fans went even crazier, reposting the video to Weibo. Ha, I'm standing right here. Who dares to spread rumors now? They're a match made in heaven, a fairy tale couple. Open your dog eyes, morning haters. Just as everyone was still discussing the video, Star Entertainment's Weibo immediately followed up with a legal department notice, directly stating that entrusted by Mr. Lufan, they would continuously follow up on the false statements and rumors online. They had already submitted lawyers' letters to the original poster and the marketing account companies. All related accounts would be completely banned. As soon as this announcement came out, Weibo exploded. Netizens suddenly noticed that the previous posts on the trending searches had been completely cleared. The original poster had even directly cancelled their account. Soon after, Weibo's official account stepped in. After verification and investigation, 1,500 accounts have been banned for posting false statements. The internet is not a lawless zone. With Weibo's official announcement, the video you posted was directly pushed to the top of the trending searches, and Shen Yuxin's Weibo instantly shot to number 2. In a short period, 2 hot topics emerged: husband spoiling maniac, and the clear will clear themselves. Countless netizens spammed your catchphrase, my wife doesn't want to bother with you all, but I'm not going to indulge you. But at that moment in the Magic City apartment, Shen Yuxin was completely unaware of all this. She was leisurely watching cartoons while holding her daughter Wanwan. Just then, Zhao Chuchu rushed over like a gust of wind. Her face was full of excitement, and she directly shoved her phone in Shen Yuxin's face. Sister Shen, look, he posted a video. Shen Yuxin looked up in confusion. Zhao Chuchu stomped her foot, feeling it was a shame. Sister Shen, you're so gentle. What will you do in the future? You really should learn from Lu Fan. Look how he fought back directly. So satisfying. Shen Yuxin took the phone and clicked on the video. That familiar, domineering voice immediately came from the speaker. After watching the entire video, her little mouth was slightly open, and her face was full of surprise. Zhao Chuchu was still chattering away. Sister Shen, do you know what netizens are calling him now? Husband spoiling maniac. Haha, so interesting. Hearing those 4 words, Shen Yuxin's cheeks quietly flushed, and a hint of sweetness rose in her heart. Who wouldn't want to be spoiled? Thinking this, she directly left her daughter and quickly walked back to her room. In the living room, only Zhao Chuchu and Wanwan were left staring at each other. But back in her room, Shen Yuxin hesitated with her finger over the dial button. What would she say if she called? Those words were too embarrassing. That would admit she was shy. Or, he handled it well. Would he think she was petty? Irritably, she flung herself onto the bed, buried her face in the quilt, and kicked her legs like a little girl. Finally, she mustered her courage and directly called for voice chat. The next second, the phone was picked up. Hello? Shen Yuxin's little face was buried in the quilt, flushed red. She asked in a muffled voice, Hey, what are you doing right now? But what she got wasn't an answer. It was your laughter. What are you doing? A live performance of smothering yourself with a quilt? Shen Yuxin gasped, abruptly raising her bright red little face, flustered. How did he know what she was doing? Only when she saw the phone interface did she wake up with a start. She had accidentally pressed video call. The word embarrassing was written all over her face. Shen Yuxin opened her little mouth, stunned on the spot, blankly staring at you on the phone screen. You touched your nose thinking, she's unexpectedly cute like this. The next second, Shen Yuxin made a sound of embarrassment and buried her face in the quilt again like an ostrich, refusing to get up. How embarrassing. Her muffled voice came from the quilt. Stop laughing. You finally stopped laughing. All right, I'm not laughing. I'm just about to go out. I'm coming to the apartment. Will you pick me up? Then wait for me there. Shen Yuxin finally looked up, her watery almond eyes staring at the screen, her cheeks still rosy. She didn't ask you why you posted that video. Some things seem to need no explanation. But you spoke first, your tone suddenly serious. However, there's something I still want to say. Shen Yuxin, you were dragged through the mud to such an extent. Why didn't you tell me? What do you actually take me for? Shen Yuxin fell silent. You asked her what she took you for, and she was actually a little lost. But the next second, she got the answer. It was liking. She liked the changed you. She liked the way you carefully cared for her and her daughter. It was just that past experiences made it hard for her to easily open her heart. But all you got was a long silence. Then your disappointed voice sounded again. Never mind if you don't want to say, come pick me up downstairs. The video was abruptly cut off. Shen Yuxin came back to her senses and remembered the tone of your voice just now. Her heart suddenly ached. I'm not the Lu Fan you think I am. You don't need to feel guilty. Unexpectedly, Shen Yuxin stared at you intently. Then are you Lu Fan? You were instantly stunned. You remembered that at the amusement park, she had asked you the same question. You scratched your head and could only answer, I am Lu Fan. Then you are the Lu Fan I think you are. Her firm answer left you completely speechless. You tried hard to clench your trembling fists and finally spoke your fear. But I'm scared. I'm afraid of the day when you won't need me anymore, Lu Fan. Shen Yuxin suddenly interrupted you, her eyes full of sympathy. She firmly held your trembling hand, gently leaned on you, and declared word by word, you are Wanwan's father and my husband. No matter what happens, we will never leave you. The most important thing is that you are by our side. Body leaning into yours, soft words spoken, you instantly got the answer you wanted. Holding her, you suddenly smiled. From then on, nothing could shake your resolve. A moment later, Shen Yuxin embarrassedly slipped out of your embrace, but you just smiled foolishly. She gave you a charming glance, and also laughed. This fool, so easy to satisfy. The car slowly drove away. The mindsets of the two people had completely transformed. Meanwhile, inside the Tianmei Entertainment apartment, impossible. How can Bufan be Lufan, that good for nothing? Luli went crazy like a madwoman, sweeping all the cosmetics off the table with one arm. Amid the harsh sound of shattering, she wasn't satisfied, and stepped forward to stomp on them with her feet. Also ruined along with the cosmetics was a lawyer's letter from Star Entertainment. She had been exposed. The original poster, seeing that things had gone wrong, had immediately given her up as the mastermind. The company had now ordered her to take a break. She knew she was finished. Sister Qin, not far away, watched with schadenfreude. So Bufan is indeed Lufan. He hid this too well. She couldn't help but sigh. Who would have thought that the good-for-nothing everyone looked down on 2 years ago would now bare his fangs? Shen Yuxin really has good eyesight. I don't accept this. Sister Qin, help me. Luli was breathing heavily, her eyes bloodshot. Sister Qin just gave her a cold glance and said unkindly, "What don't you accept? Can you sing better than her? Are you as good-looking as her? You can't even find a man as well as she can. What don't you accept?" Sister Qin's words pierced Luli's heart like knives. Luli abruptly turned her head and stared fixedly at her. Sister Qin was unafraid. "Did I say something wrong? Once you're locked up, the contract will naturally end. The company has already abandoned you." "Why?" Luli gritted her teeth. "The company needs a cash cow. You have no value anymore." Sister Qin looked at her, and even spoke from the heart. "When you get out, find a decent man to marry. Stop causing trouble." "Heh, so should I thank you?" Luli laughed. They had finally torn off all pretenses. Then she suddenly revealed a sinister smile. "Sister Qin, lend me your phone. Have a beginning and an end, right?" Sister Qin frowned. "What are you going to do? Burning the bridges?" Lily's smile became eerie. "Why does Shen Yuxin get to be one step above me in everything? Who is she, an orphan, to deserve that? Now that I know Bufan is Lufan, I still have one more trump card. If I can't hurt Shen Yuxin, I'll make Lufan lose everything. No one wins." Sister Qin watched Lily, who looked deranged and knew she had gone mad. She wanted to say that Shen Yuxin had never competed with her and was 10,000 times better than her in character, but she couldn't say it. At this moment, any provocation would make Lily completely lose control. So Sister Qin handed over the phone. "Fine, here's my phone. But all of this has nothing to do with me. I know you're afraid. Haha." Lily took the phone, and under Sister Qin's watchful eye, dialed a number. "Chen Shui, this is Lily." Meanwhile, the atmosphere in the apartment restaurant was somewhat unusual. Wanwan was eating happily. Sister Yun was smiling like an ant throughout. Zhao Chuchu had her head down, eating rice, sneaking glances at you and Shen Yuxin from time to time. Shen Yuxin's pretty face was red, even her neck was flushed, and she wished she could bury her head in the bowl. You were smiling foolishly, personally wrapping a crayfish and feeding it to her with chopsticks. Shen Yuxin felt like she was being boiled. This person had been acting strange since getting out of the car, but you felt it was only natural. She had admitted you were her husband, so what was wrong with feeding her something? "Can you not be like this? I can do it myself." Shen Yuxin finally looked up, shyly glaring at you. The coquettish annoyance in her eyes made you freeze. So this is how it feels to be looked at like that by a girl. So amazing. Falling in love is really sweet. You finally stopped feeding your wife and turned to feed Wanwan. After the meal, you finally returned to normal. Sitting on the sofa, you began to think about the song for the next round. The round of 16-8 was an easy win, but the round of 8-4 might not be. The remaining contestants were all equally skilled in singing. The competition would come down to original songs and live performance. Coming up with a good song in 3 days wasn't easy for anyone. Even you started to worry what song to choose to ensure victory. Shen Yuxin wasn't idle either. She sat beside you, fiddling with the song she had been thinking about. But that song always lacked a key piece of melody. Shen Yuxin frowned deeply. That melody was like a cat she couldn't catch, causing her to scratch her hair into a chicken coop. Until late into the night, she couldn't grasp that inspiration. However, early the next morning, just as Shen Yuxin woke up, another major event concerning you exploded on the trending searches. At first, she didn't think much of it. After all, these days, news about you never stopped trending. But when she saw the title of the post, her eyes contracted, her heart completely panicked. At the same time, countless netizens also saw the trending search. They were already used to seeing Bufan's name every day, so they clicked in without thinking. But this time, when they saw the content of the post, everyone collectively froze. Some even rubbed their eyes, unable to believe what they were seeing. Bufan commits domestic violence. The title was simply shocking. Netizens were first stunned, then burst out laughing. What kind of joke is this? Yesterday he was a husband-spoiling maniac. Today he's a domestic abuser? They eagerly clicked on the video in the post, wanting to see who was talking nonsense. The video showed two men with serious expressions. It was your former boy band members, Chen Shui and Ye Tian. Chen Shui spoke first. "Hello everyone, I'm Chen Shui, formerly a friend of Lufan. I say formerly, because I am ashamed to associate with someone like him. I know everyone doesn't believe it, but he is a domestic abuser. I have phone recordings as proof. Back then, he begged me to let him make a comeback, and I happened to record it. I never thought it would become evidence to expose his hypocritical face. I, Chen Shui, am showing my face because I'm not afraid to confront him. These words made netizens fall silent momentarily. Speaking with such conviction, and a real name report made them waver for a moment. Then Ye Tian also picked up his phone and shook it. I can testify that what Chen Shui said is true. Let everyone listen to the recording from back then. He directly clicked play. Netizens immediately perked up their ears. Only your voice came from the phone. Brother Chen, do you think I can still go back to the company? Chen Shuai's indifferent voice sounded. You've already married that popular actress. Why are you thinking about so many things? The next second, your voice came again, with a hint of frivolousness. Women are like clothes. Career is more important. Then you want to make a comeback? Can Shen Yuxin give you that? In the recording, you laughed and said a sentence that detonated the entire internet. To be honest with you, in this family what I say goes. If she dares not give it, just beat her. Women can't be spoiled. The recording ended there, but the fury of the entire internet exploded completely. Disgusting. Is this even a man? Just bullies his own woman. Not only did female netizens transform into war goddesses cursing him out, but even male netizens were filled with righteous indignation. Then Chen Shui in the video continued to add fuel to the fire with an angry face. Everyone heard it, right? This is the so-called husband-spoiling maniac you all talk about. I, Chen Shui, will never stand with a domestic abuser like him. The video ended, but the comment section was completely overrun. I was really blind to like someone like this. Hearing this recording makes me want to throw up. How dirty is Lu Fan behind the scenes? My heart is completely shattered. Countless people demanded you come out and speak. At that moment, you were quietly looking at your phone, listening to that recording. A familiar feeling of nausea rose again. You rushed into the bathroom and started vomiting. It was as if, in an instant, you were back in that oppressive Lu Fan shell. Those things were facts. They had really happened. You couldn't deny them. The pain Shen Yuxin had suffered in the past would only be more. The phone rang frantically, but you didn't look at it. For the first time, you chose to escape, burying yourself deep in the quilt, as if that would make you feel better. What hurt you wasn't being cursed at. It was those memories flooding back. The suffering of Shen Yuxin and Wanwan surfaced vividly before your eyes. You realized you had never truly forgiven yourself. Even though you were constantly making amends, it didn't change the facts of the past. Meanwhile, in the apartment, Shen Yuxin was anxiously calling you over and over. After seeing the post, she was incredibly worried. She knew you better than anyone else, the current you. She had watched your transformation, watched you atone bit by bit. She had long stopped caring about the past, but she knew that the current you definitely couldn't forgive yourself. Beside her, Sister Yun and Zhao Chuchu were full of heartache, both angry and at a loss. The phone still wouldn't connect. It was as if you had vanished from the face of the earth. Shen Yuxin's heart twisted painfully. Wanwan in her arms looked up. Mommy, are you calling Daddy? Why doesn't Mommy go find Daddy? Wanwan's words awakened Shen Yuxin. She stood up hurriedly, stumbled, and rushed out. She was coming to find you. Soon, Shen Yuxin arrived at your door out of breath. She bit her lip and knocked gently. No answer. She didn't hesitate, knocking again and again. Today she was determined to knock you out. You, buried under the quilt, were finally roused by the persistent knocking. You dragged your heavy body to open the door. What greeted you was Shen Yuxin's red-rimmed eyes. Seeing her again after just one day, you didn't even dare look her in the eye. You were at a loss in front of the door. She must have seen that post too. Was she thinking about all that past stuff again? You silently closed the door, like a prisoner about to go to the execution ground. What was she thinking? Your voice was hoarse, your heart full of fear. Now that everyone knows, what will she do? Divorce? But just then, Shen Yuxin saw your expression. She couldn't believe it, touching his head. It was real. Her mood shot from hell to heaven in an instant. Her lips curved into a smile. Shen Yuxin said, "We're even." From the moment you had come into this world, you had been walking on eggshells, always feeling guilty. Now finally, someone told you, "We're even." It was wonderful. Tears couldn't stop falling. You weren't just redeeming them, you were redeeming yourself. The two of you hugged like fools, sobbing for a long time. After a long while, Shen Yuxin said softly against your chest, "Don't ever do this again. Wanwan and I will worry about you." You nodded heavily, your voice hoarse. "I won't." Always just saying that. Shen Yuxin looked up, her face red, her eyes glistening as she looked at you. Suddenly she seemed to think of something, and her eyes burst with uncontrollable excitement. "Oh, I think I figured out that melody." "What melody?" You couldn't help reaching out and rubbing her little head. "You look like you're rubbing a dog's head." "The melody I've been working on. I suddenly have inspiration now." As soon as she finished speaking, she broke free from your embrace. "Strike while the iron is hot." You scratched your head a little regretfully. You took the sheet music out of your backpack and handed it to her. "I was planning to write a song tonight. You go ahead." Shen Yuxin nodded, her face red, and sat cross-legged on the bed, quickly starting to compose. She hummed a little tune, her pen flying. In a flash, a complete piece of music appeared on the paper. She looked up happily, staring straight at you. "Finally got it out. Do you want to see it?" You gently shook your head. "I'd rather you sing it for me." Shen Yuxin's face turned even redder. "I don't have lyrics yet." "Humming is fine." You smiled and urged her. Finally, she shyly nodded. Without accompaniment, only her soft humming sounded. But as the melody reached your ears, you froze on the spot, your eyes full of shock. You had heard this melody before, in your original world. You couldn't believe it. You continued listening intently until a passage ended. Wait a moment, you suddenly interrupted her. You quickly picked up a pen and paper and frantically wrote something. Shen Yuxin looked bewildered. But when she leaned closer and saw what you were writing, her eyes suddenly burst with brilliant light. On the paper were clearly written the words, courage. It was the lyrics. You had written the lyrics just from hearing her hum once. Shen Yuxin leaned in to take a closer look and was instantly overjoyed. These lyrics were exactly what she had been dreaming of, even better than she had imagined. Her face flushed. Her gaze shifted from the lyrics to your serious side profile. At that moment she impulsively couldn't help but give your cheek a light kiss. Your hand suddenly jerked, the ink immediately smudging. You were thunderstruck. The soft moist feeling on your cheek was as clear as a brand. You looked down at the lyrics on the paper, your heart already blooming with joy. This was the courage Shen Yuxin wanted. After kissing you, Shen Yuxin instantly panicked. She lowered her head, wishing she could find a hole to crawl into. Fortunately, you didn't react much, otherwise she would have definitely fled in shame. Of course, you knew she was thin-skinned, so you forcibly suppressed the pounding in your heart and continued writing the lyrics. Finally, you casually handed the lyrics to her. Look, can you sing this for me completely now? After singing the song once, you smiled and nodded. It sounds great. Next round is in the bag. It's your lyrics that are good. Without my wife's music, I wouldn't have thought of such a song. A bit of mutual praise. But as soon as the words my wife came out, Shen Yuxin was defenseless. She buried her face in her arms like an ostrich, her heart both shy and sweet. But before you could fully appreciate the beautiful sight, the harsh ring of a phone suddenly broke the intimate atmosphere in the room. You picked up the phone. On the screen was clearly the name, Minister Li. You raised an eyebrow. It seemed Li Xia had also seen the post. As soon as you answered, you still spoke gently. Hello? What's up? Li Xia on the other end was clearly stunned. She asked cautiously. There are some bad comments online. Aren't you going to clarify? You subconsciously looked at Shen Yuxin. She was pretending to seriously look at the sheet music, but her wandering eyes betrayed her. You winked playfully at her. Her little face instantly turned crimson, and she hurriedly looked away. Then you calmly dropped a bomb into the phone. No need to clarify. Those things are true. The other end of the line fell into dead silence. After a long while, Li Xia's incredulous voice came through. Why? I don't believe it. The you I remember is, you interrupted her. Minister Li, how much do you really know about me? What's online is true. If you do something wrong, you have to accept the punishment. As for the comments, let them talk. Your gaze never left Shen Yuxin, incredibly gentle. As long as the people I care about understand me, that's enough. There was another silence on the phone. Li Xia's voice carried obvious disappointment. Okay, I understand. I'm hanging up. You had just put down the phone when Shen Yuxin's voice came slowly. You were too cold. That's not good. You were full of question marks. Was I cold? Then Shen Yuxin added, her eyes slightly dim. That's Sister Li. She probably likes you. What? Li Xia likes me? You scratched your head, instantly feeling a headache. I just treat her as a regular friend. How do you know? Shen Yuxin suddenly looked up, staring at you, her tone incredibly firm. I can feel it. I believe my feelings. You scratched your head looking sincere. Your feelings are wrong. I'm a married man with a wife and child. It would be very disrespectful to have feelings for someone else. Love should be serious and devoted. Looking at your sincere gaze, Shen Yuxin nodded gently. But in her heart, a sense of urgency rose. You don't like others, but that doesn't mean others don't like you. That Sister Li is so much better than me. You looked at her puzzled, carefully thinking back to the conversation. You suddenly understood something. Your eyes twinkled with a smile as you nudged her arm. Are you jealous? Shen Yuxin instantly panicked, her face turning crimson. No, no. Her voice was loud, but her reaction was even bigger. Case cracked. It was jealousy. The smile at the corners of your mouth grew wider as you quietly watched her perform. But the more Shen Yuxin tried to cover it up, the more flustered she became, both embarrassed and annoyed. Finally, she couldn't bear your gaze anymore, and threw the sheet music on the bed, as if giving up. What's wrong with that? There's such a beautiful woman who likes you. Your smile grew and grew. The next second, you suddenly leaned down close to her, your voice full of temptation. Then how about I stamp you? Then you won't be jealous anymore, will you? Your face was extremely close, your breath hitting her face. Shen Yuxin's heartbeat instantly raced like a drum, faster and faster, as if about to jump out of her throat. Then, under your gaze, she actually slowly closed her eyes, her little mouth slightly puckered. Your heart stirred. You closed your eyes and slowly leaned in. Afterwards, Shen Yuxin was about to participate in the New Song Festival's round of 8 to 4. She was currently practicing singing at Star Entertainment. You returned to the apartment. Only the nanny Sister Yun and your daughter Wanwan were at home. Sister Yun had mixed feelings about you. She was grateful for your recent changes and help, but also remembered how you had hurt Shen Yuxin in the past. However, seeing how you now cared for your wife and daughter, she felt relieved and told you that Shen Yuxin was at the company. Upon hearing this, you decided to take Wanwan to visit and surprise your wife. At that time, the online cursing about you continued. Netizens had even formed condemnation groups, hoping Shen Yuxin would take this opportunity to divorce. However, Shen Yuxin's Weibo suddenly updated with a pinned post. How fortunate in this life to meet a good man. When a gentleman corrects his mistakes, everyone appreciates it. My heart feels the same. These two sentences instantly made netizens explode, speculating whether Shen Yuxin was being controlled. You took Wanwan to Star Entertainment and ran into Chen Qian, who was also a contestant. Chen Qian was a fan of Shen Yuxin. Meeting you in person, she felt you were kind and even asked for your autograph. Then you arrived at the recording studio. Through the glass, you watched Shen Yuxin singing seriously, your eyes full of tenderness. In the middle of the song, Shen Yuxin saw you two, father and daughter, and was overjoyed. Shyly and sweetly, she called out, husband. The second round of the new song festival arrived as scheduled. The buzz was unprecedented. You brought Wanwan, wearing masks, and came to the scene in a low-key manner. Shen Yuxin's opponent was Xiao Feibai of Shengxi Entertainment. Before the competition started, the live audience loudly questioned Shen Yuxin whether her Weibo post was sent by herself or if she was coerced. Shen Yuxin looked firmly at you in the audience and loudly announced, I like him. I like Lu Fan. He is very good. Some likes our fate. Then the big screen showed the song title, Courage. Lyrics by Lu Fan. Music by Shen Yuxin. The prelude sounded. Shen Yuxin sang with deep emotion. The lyrics were heart-stirring. This naked confession made the audience and netizens realize this wasn't a public criticism session. It was a dog food delivery scene. After one song, public opinion turned completely. Everyone offered their blessings to this couple, who ran towards each other. Finally, Shen Yuxin advanced to the top 4 with a high vote count. After the competition, Star Entertainment took the opportunity to speak out, clarifying that you had not committed domestic violence, and that the two of you were running towards each other. That night, you held Shen Yuxin's hand and strolled on the street. You were like a passionate young couple, browsing the snack street, watching a movie. In the cinema, you couldn't help secretly kissing Shen Yuxin, making her shy and embarrassed. Although there were still some minor misunderstandings and awkwardness between you, your feelings were rapidly heating up. After a brief time together, you took Wanwan back to River City. Shen Yuxin stayed in Magic City to prepare for the finals. Back in River City, you were busy finding a kindergarten for Wanwan. Although you had missed the registration period, thanks to the popularity of Bufan's little princess, you successfully enrolled her in Jianghua Kindergarten. Meanwhile, in Magic City, a conspiracy was brewing. The former executive of Star Entertainment, Yin Ping Lu, in order to take revenge, colluded with the new song festival mentors Wang Bin and Ran Xiaoxiao, plotting to rig the next match and make Shen Yuxin lose to Chen Qian. He also brought in the so-called godfather of music, Wu Mian, to write a song for Chen Qian. In the third round of the new song festival, the quarterfinals, Shen Yuxin versus Chen Qian, the host, Chen Sher, deliberately stirred up trouble by asking Shen Yuxin if her new song was again written by you. Shen Yuxin responded calmly. In the competition, Shen Yuxin brought a song called Sea of Flowers. The beautiful prelude instantly transported the audience into a mood. Shen Yuxin's singing was affectionate, like a personal concert. The entire audience applauded. In contrast, Chen Qian's sweet song, though not bad, appeared lackluster in comparison to Sea of Flowers. However, a problem occurred in the voting. Although Gao Yu voted for Shen Yuxin, She Yu voted for Chen Qian as a friendship vote, but Wang Bin and Ran Xiaoxiao both voted for Chen Qian, causing Chen Qian to lead in votes. The entire audience was in an uproar. Cries of "fix" arose everywhere, but at the critical moment She Yu stood up. Excuse me, host. I'm sorry to interrupt, but there's a problem with this vote. I want to apologize to Shen Yuxin and to the audience. I'm sorry. Previously I received information from Star Entertainment's operations director Yin Ping Love. He told me that since Chen Shan and Shen Yuxin belonged to the same company, if the gap between them was too big, he wanted me to cast a friendship vote for Chen Shan so she wouldn't lose too badly. But now this has caused Chen Shan to advance. I feel responsible. Today, because of me, Shen Yuxin was eliminated. I resign as a mentor of the New Song Festival. Chen Shan even directly announced her withdrawal, stating that Shen Yuxin's Sea of Flowers was far superior to her own. The truth came out. The program's director Ren Xiao urgently intervened and announced a revote, removing the implicated mentors. Finally, Shen Yuxin successfully advanced. Afterwards, Yin Ping Love was fired by Star Entertainment. The implicated mentors also lost their reputations. Wu Mian, because his song lost to yours, harbored resentment and publicly provoked you on Weibo, throwing down a challenge to compete in the finals. Wu Mian's provocation detonated the internet. The media hyped the new versus old showdown. You didn't back down either, and responded, whatever you say. Shenxi Entertainment took the opportunity to invite Wu Mian to write a song for their finalist, Miao Enyan. The keyword for the first round of the finals was tragic and terrifying. For Wu Mian, who excelled at this style, it was a godsend. But for you, it was a brand new challenge. Shen Yuxin was worried, but you seemed confident. To find inspiration, Shen Yuxin even accompanied you in watching horror movies. But she got scared herself, which instead promoted intimacy between you. The next day you came up with a new song. The night of the finals was highly anticipated. Miao Enyan took the stage first, singing the mournful song created by Wu Mian. The first half depicted the pain of a cancer patient. The second half was oppressive, pure music. Although a bit obscure, the artistry was extremely high. Wu Mian was confident. Then, Shen Yuxin took the stage. She wore a bright red wedding dress and a phoenix crown, but her makeup was poignant and sorrowful, her eyes hollow. The The song title was simply Widow. The music started. The sorrowful melody of the erhu and pipa intertwined. Shen Yuxin opened her mouth, and her opera-style vocals amazed the audience. The lyrics described a ghost marriage, every word not mentioning resentment, yet every sentence implied it. As the song progressed, the sudden sound of a swana pushed the atmosphere to a climax. The bone-deep sorrow and fear made the entire audience's scalps tingle. Shen Yuxin's performance, where she never blinked throughout, was praised by netizens as the most beautiful ghost bride. Widow defeated Morning Song with an overwhelming advantage. Shen Yuxin won by a large margin, with a 4-0 mentor vote and an 88% audience vote. Wu Mian was utterly defeated. He fulfilled his promise, gave up the title of Godfather of Music, and apologized. After the competition, you were waiting for Shen Yuxin outside the venue. Shen Yuxin told you that Zhao Chuchu had already left, and she hadn't brought her apartment key. You tacitly went to the hotel. In the hotel room, the atmosphere was ambiguous and tense. You came out of the shower and found Shen Yuxin crying. She revealed her heart, feeling she didn't deserve you, and the closer she got, the more afraid she was of losing you. You gently cupped her face, and told her that you used to be very insecure too, and she gave you the feeling of a heartbeat. All of this was the best arrangement by heaven. What heaven arranges is greatest. Your words made Shen Yuxin laugh through her tears. You held each other tightly. At that moment, you finally completely understood each other's hearts. Two hearts were completely and unreservedly close. On the road ahead, you would walk hand in hand. Whether facing wind and rain or glory,